What's up, Internet? You're tuned in to episode 122 of the PotsCast. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined, as always, by my very good friend, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello.
Hello, Stephen. What a week. Oh, my God.
Mental.
We are at the end of April, and it feels like the video game industry has fucking come alive. Because, you know, first couple months of the year, they're always a little slow. You get your few big releases, you get a couple announcements, couple of delays. It happens, right? But now, it's a few short weeks away from the E3 season. We've got some of the bigger releases of the year around the corner, namely one Mass Effect collection that you know your boy's excited for. We know that the big stuff is coming. But this week, dear Lord, do we have a news bonanza on our hands here. No main topic, barely even know what we're playing, really. It's news, and we had to cut news because there's so many things that happened this week. So it is truly the cream of the crop on this week's PotsCast. So before we get into that, because there's a lot to get into, let me just quickly tell you, we are, of course, the PotsCast, LootPots.com's weekly gaming podcast where Steve and I get together and talk about everything going on in the world of video games, what we're playing. We read questions from folks like you at home. It's a great time. We have fun with it. If you want to go and support the show, go give us a like, a subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. Go and give us the like where you can. Give us the share. Let people know that we're out here doing a show that you enjoy and that you think they'd enjoy it too. And if you want to get some more content from us, of course, head over to twitch.tv/lootpots where Steve and I are there every Thursday night going and streaming something fresh in the world of games. And then, of course, you can also head over to patreon.com/lootpots where for just $1, you can get access to our Patreon exclusive show After Dark, where this week, Steve and I talked about what we would do if we won the lottery. And some other stuff, but that was like the most interesting topic. You're going to want to go for that one. We have some great plans, all right, of what we're going to do when we become millionaires. So, you know, and here's the thing, right? Go give us $1 on Patreon. We're $1 closer. So you go check that out and make our dreams come true. So before we get into this just absolute mountain of news, let's just quickly talk about what we're playing this week. Because I know neither of us have played anything new. But we do have some announcements in this category. So, Steve, why don't you start?
Yeah, so I was playing a little bit of Hitman 2, and I was curious. I was like, how much is Hitman 3 going for? CD Keys had it for 25 quid, so I was like, sod it.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna buy it. It's currently downloading though. 62 gigabytes downloading. It's a very, very big game. And then I'm gonna have to re-download all the Hitman 1 and 2 levels for Hitman 3. So eventually, I'm going to have a complete collection of the Hitman trilogy, and I'll be working my way through it again. I can't wait to play the new levels. I really, really can. Dartmoor looks amazing. Really looking forward to that.
That feels like a game. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, Dartmoor's apparently based on some film. I can't remember, like Knives or something. Knives Out or something. Yeah. It's based on like the similar house, and like you've got to do similar stuff.
That's cool.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
That might be a fun game to stream.
We could stream some Hitman, yeah.
I'd watch you play. Just like see.
Yeah, let's do it then.
See what choices you make or whatever. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll just put the clown outfit on and just goof around.
Everybody in the chat will be yelling at you to kill people in specific ways. It'll be a good time. And then for me, like I said, it's the same old, but I do have a little stream promo to do this week, probably on Thursday. We're going to be streaming a little Emily is Away 3. I was able to get a code courtesy of the game's creator, so thank you so much for that. I am really looking forward to it, and I was a big fan of the first two. And the reviews on Steam are overwhelmingly positive, so it seems like this one is a good way to close out the trilogy. So I'm really excited to give it a shot. I think it's a game that Steve will definitely respond to.
Should I play the first two? So I looked them up, and I also was listening to Triple Click, which is Maximum Fun's gaming podcast with Jason Schreier, Kirk Hamilton, and Manny Myers. And Manny's been playing all of these games this week, so I found out what they were through her. And basically they're like text adventures through AOL Instant Messenger, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yep. This
when you
one's
kind
this
of
one's in like
also,
Facebook, but
oh, so it's also like a little bit of a dating sim as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing more. Do they follow on from each other though? Because I do really want to know the story, and I'll go back and I'll play or watch someone play 1 and 2 if that is the case.
I think they are worth playing. For like the full experience. We could do them all if you want. Like they're not that long. Like we could start with one and go through the whole thing.
Yeah, they're like 2 hours each or something, right?
Ish.
2-3 hours.
A little bit shorter even, probably.
I mean, that might be worth doing then. So maybe we stream the first one this Thursday and we see how it goes.
Get the trilogy out. That'd be cool. We'll talk about it. Let you know if you guys have any ideas. Let us know. But again, thank you to Kyle Seeley, is the creator of the game. Really appreciate you sending me the code, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. So let's jump into the news. Oh no, sorry. I had a perfect little segue built in. Oh no, Steve!
You did.
Look what we've done.
I like assembled these notes in like a specific order.
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and I just dropped it. Unbelievable.
Shot straight past.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, what I was going to say was that I'm very excited to be looking forward to new Pokemon Snap coming out on the 30th, which I'm pretty sure we mistakenly said last week. Oh, it's out next week.
Last week, yeah.
It's
not.
not.
We were like, oh, maybe we'll stream some Pokemon. Well, no, we can because it doesn't exist yet.
It's
It's not even out.
Goddamn clowns that we are. But anyway, so I am very much looking forward to getting my hands on Pokemon Snap on the 30th. And in the spirit of that, Fujifilm and Nintendo have announced a Switch / Pikachu themed Instamax mini printer. So this is a brand that already existed from Fujifilm, where it's like, you can basically just take like photos with your phone, I think it is, right? And there's an app, and you can.
You can. Yeah. So I have one of these printers. We have a string in the living room where I have a bunch of these put up. Anyone that comes over, we take a picture, we write their name, we put it on the wall, and they're little Polaroids basically. Is what comes out, and it is exactly like a Polaroid. It develops in the same way as a Polaroid.
And now we have, there's a Switch themed one that has like blue and red, and then there's like a Pikachu one, and the app is free, and you can basically just any pictures that you take on your Switch, you can throw to the app and then kind of like crop and make your adjustments or whatever, and then print out your Polaroids.
Yeah, and there's like specific games and themes that it works with. So there's like different frames and things you can get. So there's a Super Mario version, there's Animal Crossing, and of course Pokemon Snap. And the press release wasn't clear how it works, but it says using the app you can scan a QR code in the game. I don't know if it actually means in the game or if it's in the Nintendo Switch's transfer to mobile thing.
Probably that, yeah.
Yeah, which is what I figured. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how it works. And I'll be giving it a try on April 30th when the app's available to download. I'll probably print out some Animal Crossing or some Mario stuff. You gonna get one of these?
I really want to get one. Yeah, I really want to get one. And I know that it's a stupid idea, but I want one anyway.
Well, sell it to Sarah as like, look how cool this would be. We can like print out pictures and make like a little memory book or something.
That's kind of the way I'm justifying it to myself, is that I wouldn't buy it just to use it for Pokemon Snap for like 5 minutes and then move on. Like there are other things. Like I like Polaroids. Like I would love to be able to do those and have like a picture wall or whatever, like do something like what you guys were just what you described having. So yeah, I want it. I really do. It's super cute. And
are you getting the Pikachu one with the goofy silicone case?
I sure want it. Yeah.
I thought you would.
It's cute. It's cute. I like it, and I love Pokemon Snap. So I'm interested in doing this. I would really love to like make a video about it. Like I feel like that would be like a fun thing to make a little YouTube presentation on. Maybe we make like a scrapbook of like all the pictures we took in Pokemon Snap kind of thing. I don't know. It's
You mentioned someone was making like a booth on your Twitter feed
yes.
with one of these.
I don't remember who it is. It's like it keeps coming up like every couple days where like they're showing the updates, and I wish I remembered who it was. I apologize. But if I can figure it out, I'll make a note of it and we'll talk about it for next year
When
or
the game's
next year,
actually
next
out.
episode, the next time it comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that next week, when the game comes out, they'll probably be talking about it a lot, so it'll probably come up
Oh, definitely.
in my feed again. So I'll go ahead.
I'm glad they came up with a solution for this though. Like I was hoping they would come up with something. I initially thought it was going to be how Firewatch did it, which was you get your screenshots, you click like you send them off to an online service, and then you get them come through in the post.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that there's like an at-home solution
Mm-hmm.
that you can use, and the fact that you can also use it with existing Instax mini printers is great. It means you haven't got to fork out for this special Pikachu edition. If you want it to work with Pokemon Snap, you can use the printer you've got already.
Yeah, I do like that. I gotta say, part of me is like sad about it, just because I don't know. Like, I really want. Part of me really wants to go to a Blockbuster. Like
I was gonna say, yeah, you really want to go to the last Blockbuster on the planet and go print out your Pokemon pictures.
Go to Bend, Oregon, and print out my Pokemon Snap pictures. Yeah, I don't know. I miss.
We never had that in the UK, I don't believe. I think it was
Really?
like a North America thing
That's
only.
sad. I kind of miss. I think it's between like me watching that documentary about Blockbuster and like being stuck at home for a year. I like really miss the idea of like physical locations for things. I want to go places now more than ever. It's like, yeah, no, I want to drive to a store to pick out a movie instead of just going on Netflix.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So quaint, It is funny though. Near my house, there's a Blockbuster sign that's still like one of the real, like the big ones, and it's on this insanely tall pole that you can see from fucking far away. And I think they never took it down when the Blockbuster closed because it was so high up, and it's just there now forever.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
whenever
Is that someone's property? Like I would really want that. I would
I
want
want
to
the
own
sign.
that.
I
And have that on my
know.
wall.
I want to
Yeah.
take it so bad, but it's too high. Like I literally couldn't get up there. It's
You'd have
probably
to
like
get, like, a
50
cherry
feet in the
picker.
air. Like I need like a helicopter or something to pull it off. Like it's a huge pole.
How did they get it up? It must have been with a crane.
It must have been. It must have been. And I remember when we first moved here, Mike and I were like in that part of town to like get lunch, and I was just like, oh my God, look, it's like a relic from a lost society. It's like, what could these words mean?
When I was a kid, I never understood what that logo was because I'd never seen like a cinema ticket that looked like that.
Right.
Do you know what I thought it was? I thought it was the bottom of a VHS like sleeve that had been torn off.
That's funny. That's so funny. Oh my God. Well, anyway, the next story we've got on our list is another little piece of Nintendo merch has been revealed, and it is the official Lego Luigi. We also got a look at there's a pink Yoshi and a look at Boom Boom as well. So like a couple new things. Pre-orders are live now if you want to go check it out. But this is interesting because, of course, this was one where like the rumor for this had been out because there was like a weird firmware update that got pushed to the Mario
It was
toys.
so strange.
So
Yeah, and I think they pushed it too early, yeah. And it was just like asking. He was like crying out for Luigi. He was like,
Luigi?
Luigi!
And now he's here.
How amazing is that marketing though to like make him say Luigi so your kids hear it and you go, well, where's Luigi, Mum? Can you get me Luigi?
Yeah, genius. Probably fucked up, frankly, but genius.
Very fucked up, but it makes you buy the Luigi.
Can I tell you a real truth fact here? I remember when these came out, we talked about how like, oh, I would really love these, like it would be fun. Like, I would love to like build it, but it's just like it's a lot of money and it's hard to justify for something that I'll probably use like once. But like I want the Luigi. I like Luigi more.
Not really. I wonder if he's a little bit taller. I'd love to know if they made him a little bit taller
I
than
hope he
Mario,
is.
because they never showed him side by side with the Mario.
I hope he's a little taller. He should be.
Yeah, and then I want a little fatter Wario one next.
And then a really lanky Waluigi.
Yes. Nah, he won't get one because they don't put him in anything, so he's not getting a Lego.
But like, I wish I could just buy Luigi.
You can.
Oh, you can just Luigi?
Yeah. You don't have to get the starter course. You can just buy Luigi if you want to.
Okay, because that's what I want. I just want just the Luigi figure, I think.
I mean, it's not even that expensive as the starter course. It's 50 quid. And I'm saying it's not expensive. That is still a lot of money for some plastic, but it's not like ridiculous Lego price like they usually do.
No. Yeah, it's not too bad. These are really cool, though.
Yeah, I really wish they would do some Animal Crossing ones.
Part of me wants to, and this is like the most insane thing I think I've ever said. Part of me wants to buy all of them so that when I have kids, I have them. And I can be like,
That is the most insane thing you've ever said.
come on, kids. See, Steve, this is why we're a good duo. Like, you're gonna be honest with me when I say something insane like that. But like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's how I feel right now.
What if you have kids and they're not into Mario? You're just gonna disown them.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Frankly.
Whoa! You don't like Mario? You think Sonic's better?
Frankly, yeah. Are you kidding me? I don't want some loser kid that doesn't like Mario. I already had to accept.
They're just gonna come back to you and be like, yeah, but blast processing, Dad.
Oh my god, blast processing.
Blast processing.
Get the
goes
fuck
so
out
much faster.
I'd be like, get out of my house. Get out. You're disowned. How dare you? Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely a cool partnership, and it's cool to see Luigi get the come up. I'm wondering how many more of these sets they have planned, because I bet you it's more.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I would have got these if Macaulay was at all into them, but Macaulay's a bit of a snob when it comes to Lego, and this apparently isn't real Lego, so it got a no from them.
That's hilarious. All right, so moving right along. We got a pretty big announcement this week that definitely seemed to get people excited, which was the announcement trailer for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is coming on July 27th. So
yeah, finally coming to the West.
So I help me out with this. Because I saw the hype. I know that this is coming to the West for the first time. It's like a prequel, right? Like it's set in the past.
Sort of. It's a spin-off set in the 1800s.
Okay.
And it's essentially a Sherlock Holmes game.
But like with
Except
the Ace Attorney.
Yeah, with the Ace Attorney style, you go to court and stuff. And there's the Phoenix Wright's not in it. It's his ancestor.
Okay.
Who in the West is called Sherlock Holmes, not Sherlock Holmes.
In Japan, it's Sherlock Holmes, though?
In Japan, it's Sherlock Holmes, but someone in the West owns copyright on 10 stories in the US and in the UK.
Interesting.
So in the UK, copyright is 70 years after someone dies. In the US, I think it's less. But he did 10 stories that someone still owns the copyright to. Everywhere else in the world, Sherlock Holmes is in public domain, so they could call him Sherlock Holmes in those countries, but it's Sherlock Holmes in the West.
Thanks, America.
And the fact that they just decided to make it so obvious and just call him Sherlock.
They don't care.
It's like, what?
Like, whatever. That's hilarious. So the thing is that his ancestor meets Sherlock Holmes is the thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't star Sherlock Holmes. Got it. Okay.
No, Sherlock Holmes is
a character in it.
You don't play Sherlock Holmes, no.
Right.
You are like doing a mission with them.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of people were really hyped about this one. I guess it's just because this is like a lost entry in the franchise, kind of, right? Because it's never come to the West.
Yeah.
Cool.
And plus, it's been years since we've had a new Ace Attorney game.
I've never played one of these games before, and I feel like I would like them.
You would like them.
Yeah.
If you like visual novels, you will like them.
I like them fine. Yeah, if they're good.
Yeah, I imported the Phoenix Wright collection that's on Switch from Japan. Has really, really cool
It has
artwork.
the English translations, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can buy it digitally on the eShop if you're not bothered about physical.
So if I was gonna like try them, would you say I should start with the collection that you bought, or is like this a good jumping on place?
I would start with the collection, see how you like it. You'll get a feel for the game and get a feel for how everything works, and then progress on to the spin-offs if you want to.
Okay.
But I think with the 3 games in the Phoenix Wright trilogy, you'll probably be all right. You'll probably be settled.
Well, I've got another trilogy on the horizon, so I'm not exactly looking to jump into another.
I kind of feel like they're great secondary games. It's the kind of ones where you can log on for an hour, maybe 2, and you're just essentially it's like reading a book, but it's like I guess one of those choose your own adventure books that has a single outcome. And you just go around because you can go to a location, find all of the stuff at the location, do some questioning, and then just check out for the day.
All right, I'll keep it in mind. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in like trying to close the gap, seeing if it's for me. So let's jump over to the Xbox side of things. Lots of news here again. We talked about this a couple weeks back, but Discord has ended their talks with Microsoft to be acquired, and the reasoning is essentially that Discord has decided that they're doing well enough and they'd rather stay independent at this time. They did say that that they're the way that the talks ended, that they could be rekindled at some point, basically, is that like it didn't end on bad terms. They just kind of made the decision that it wasn't time, and Xbox is still interested, allegedly. So
yeah, I think they're going to go public instead.
I'm not surprised by that, honestly. Like, I think them, like shopping around to see if there was interest in being sold for like a ton of money, like, is a really, really, really good strategic move before going public to show that there's interest from Microsoft in acquiring the company for billions of dollars. You'll have people that don't really know what Discord is or understand it be like, that's worth money. Like, cool,
Oh, it's gonna be worth a lot. Have you ever looked up how much Roblox is worth?
No.
On the stock market?
Roblox specifically?
How much do you reckon? Yeah, how much do you reckon Roblox is worth?
Oh my god, I have no idea. Probably billions, because I know it's really popular with children, and they make a ton of money on like the in-game purchases or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Like, is it like insanely high, or is it like a?
Yes. It's fucking mental.
Is it like 8 billion?
39.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? $39 billion? Oh my god, is it a lot bigger than I think it is?
I think it is, yeah.
It's already
like the biggest game.
That's insane. I need to look at this now. This is when you know you're fucking old, man.
Yeah, its market cap is $39.5 billion.
Oh my fucking god.
Which was what Jason's point in the article a couple of weeks ago was that if Sony had marketed Dreams better, they could have had something on the level of Roblox.
They absolutely could have. It's such a bummer that they didn't. I can't even find like pictures of what this game looks like when you're playing it.
Oh, it's it's very strange. So I've seen Macaulay play it because they grew up with it. And
How old is
build
it?
games in it. Came out in 2006.
What the fuck? That's insane to me.
But people build games in it. Like, there's like robbery games, heist games. People do races. There's all sorts of challenges you can make in it. It is essentially a game building tool, and people build games in it and sell them.
Says it has over, as of August 2020, has over 164 million monthly active users, with it being played by over half of all children aged under 16 in the United States.
Yeah, there's a good reason it's worth the amount of money it's worth.
Good God, man. Good God. There was a fake Pokemon game released in it. What the hell?
We've really gone off a tangent about Roblox.
We really have. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I mean, I knew it was big. Like, if you had asked me, like, what are, like, the 3 biggest games in the world, I probably would have thought it was one of them, but I didn't realize it made this much money. It's insane.
It's crazy. Like, they're worth more than, say, like Epic Games.
Highest grossing game of 2020 with a revenue of $2.29 billion. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so Discord isn't going to sell because it is doing fine. And they commented that it doubled its monthly user base last year to about 140 million during, obviously, over the course of the pandemic. And it generated $130 million in revenue in 2020, up from $45 million the year before. So
Their pivot into communities has been the best play they could have come up with in the last year. The fact that it's become a de facto place in some places over Reddit to go and chat about specific topics is fantastic. And hopefully they just continue to thrive. I think they will.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a big fan of Discord and what they do, and I, in general, am wary about acquisitions, so I'm glad to see them staying independent. So, jumping over to a bunch of different news that kind of came out in or around the GameStack Live developer event, there is just a ton of small announcements, kind of some small, some large, about things kind of changing behind the scenes at Xbox or on the tech side of things. So we have an update coming to Xbox soon that is going to show all of the games that you have in Quick Resume and like allow you to clear them. And like it'll also within that thing, it's going to have like showing whether the game you're currently playing supports it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I
it's
love
about
this.
time. I mean, this really should have been in at launch, in my view. I mean, this is like the headline feature that Microsoft had over PlayStation, and the fact that you couldn't see and couldn't detect when they are so crazy about their badges. You know, you get a badge for Game Pass, you get a badge for Auto HDR, for FPS Boost.
Yeah.
There was nothing to show Quick Resume. It really is a fix to that, and I'm glad to see it's coming.
Yeah, this is like one of my number one like requested features on the Xbox side of things, like since I got the thing. I love Quick Resume. It's extremely useful. I've been really frustrated that the PlayStation doesn't have it lately because I've been bouncing back and forth between Ghost of Tsushima and Disco Elysium and like having to open my PlayStation and be like, which game was I playing? Okay, was I in the middle of something? All right, let me go and save and all this fucking bullshit, and like, and ultimately first world ass problem, right? I'm complaining about nothing.
Massively first world.
Massively. But when you have both consoles and you can compare the features day to day in your usage, like you feel it. And Quick Resume is amazing. It's an awesome feature and I love it. It's super convenient. And if you're like a hardcore gamer who plays a lot of games and likes to taste a lot of different things and jump around, like a lot of us do. It's a great quality of life feature. And
agreed. And as I said before, I think this is such an amazing feature for households with multiple gamers. The fact that you can share a console and you might be in the middle of a game and someone wants to play something else. It doesn't interrupt where you were. You haven't got to come back to your console and be like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And then it remembers like who was playing and stuff is like, it's incredible. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. And like, especially like, I know you can do a thing with the Xbox too, where like you have each controller tied to an account. So like if I have the blue controller and you have the red controller, like whenever I pick up the blue one, it knows that it's me and it'll jump back to whatever game I had open. Like that is incredible, man. That stuff is awesome. And like, yeah, it's probably not the deciding factor whether you're going to go with one console or the other, but like I love those features and I love that they continue to develop those features to make them even better. And it is the thing that makes me like when there is a third-party game to be picked up and I have the choice, I look at Xbox and I'm like, well, maybe I'd rather have it here, you know?
Well, that, and the next Xbox you buy is going to be pulled over with the smart delivery stuff.
It sure will. So I like that. Love to see this. This is a great move. And I think we talked about this when the consoles first dropped, right? About how you can't really judge a console based on its first year or so. It really is a few years in where they find their feet and you kind of get, the standardized systems that you come to expect for the rest of the life cycle. So I imagine we'll see more developments like this as they continue to iterate and kind of recognize like what are the features people are most using and how can we improve them and whatever. And it makes you excited to think about what the OS of specifically the Series X, but of both of these consoles will look like in 3 or 4 years time, as we're kind of getting more towards the, the middle or the end of the life cycle. So then we also got the news that Xbox Cloud Gaming is finally coming to iOS devices through the web, which is good. It's a compromise. It's a bit of a disappointing compromise.
It's not Microsoft's fault, though.
No, it's not. They have no control over it. But,
yeah,
Apple's going to Apple. They're not. They don't.
It sucks. It does suck, but I'm glad that it's here, and it's also fantastic that say you have a Mac or a Linux computer and you want to play these games, you can just play them in a browser now. You can play them in Google Chrome,
iPad, whatever.
Yeah, iPad it plays anywhere there's a web browser. So say you've got like one of those, you've got a TV with a built-in web browser. Theoretically, you should be able to play these games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like on a Chromebook, even maybe. Something like that, like one of those, like...
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's the thing where, like, I think it's disappointing for iOS users that y'all have to make that compromise because of Apple, but really good on Microsoft for, like, when that happened, they were like, well, we're going to figure it out. Like, it's going to come one way or the other. Like, you can bet your fucking bottom dollar on that. And then they're like, they did it. And it only took, like, 6 months. It wasn't that long of a wait,
did you see how they managed to get it done so quick?
No. What's the...
So they partnered up with a company called Rainway. Do you remember Rainway? They were going to be bringing their cloud gaming platform to Switch way back in the day.
No, I don't remember them.
So they were going to do their own streaming service.
Okay.
Rainway Gaming. They've kind of pivoted to just be the technology behind this low latency streaming now. So if you go to rainway.com, you can see what it is. And they have been working with Microsoft and power Microsoft's Xbox Cloud Gaming.
Wow. If you go to their website, they have like a CTA at the very top, and it says how we helped Xbox Cloud Gaming reach billions of new devices. That's dope. Wow. So you can actually still get their gaming.
You can, but it's like that's sort of right at the bottom of the screen in a very small little. Are you looking for Rainway Gaming? Yeah. Why would you be looking for that when you can now just get Xbox Cloud Gaming?
Very cool though. This is good tech. I like that a lot. And like you said, I think as much as it's annoying that you guys can't just use the app, like the ramifications for it beyond just accessing iOS devices is like, it's cool that they did this work because now you can just fucking run it on anything, Like, how long until you get one of those videos where someone's like, oh, I hacked my Samsung fridge and now I can play Xbox, Game Pass on it or whatever. Like, I think there's already videos like that. So that's pretty sick. And like, I was thinking about how, we've been talking about like a lot of those like aftermarket like gaming devices that a lot of people like the Android based ones that like get a browser on there. Like can you hack a browser on like a Vita?
There is a browser on the Vita.
I wonder if that would work.
We'd have to wait and see. theoretically it should work. The PlayStation,
Right?
the PlayStation streaming supported on there anyway. So if it could, then
That
that
would
would
be
be awesome.
crazy.
I'm also kind of thinking when the new Switch comes out, if this doesn't come to Switch, which I think it probably will at this point, because once again there was a Switch at the GameStack Live event just sat on a shelf behind them as a prop, and it's like, why is that there? Um, I do think this
Who's to
Xbox Cloud
say?
gaming is coming.
Who's to say? It could be. That is interesting. Because it's a Switch and like otherwise
Hardly anything else.
well, it's interesting because it's specifically a Switch, an Xbox Series S, an Xbox Series X, a controller, and a GameStack hat.
And that's it. And it's like, these are the platforms Xbox Cloud's on. I'm really hopeful. Very, very fucking hopeful because, you know, that's a huge thing for me. I think that was my risky pick for my predictions.
It was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, that's fine. I'm happy for you to win that one. That's insane if that's real. We'll see. One to keep an eye out for. We also got an update about how Xbox has dropped the gold requirement for free-to-play games and party chat. Finally, this feels like way overdue.
Massively overdue. But this came with the rebrand from a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember it was that they're changing Xbox Live is now called Xbox Network.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have gold now to play this whole plethora of games that they've got.
It's just wild that Sony was ahead of Microsoft under like a pro-consumer thing. Like that's the thing that's weird.
And that's very unusual, right?
It really is. Like that's the thing that's so odd about it to me is like I remember when the story you just were referencing was like making the rounds a couple months ago or whatever, being like, you still have to pay for free-to-play games on Xbox?
Yeah, I was mad.
It's like, what? Like, Sony gave up on that. How the fuck how? Like, Xbox gives you everything for free. Like, what are they doing? That made no sense to me. But it's probably just because of how many people pay for gold.
Yeah, people pay for gold, and you get it with Game Pass Ultimate, which I think a bunch of people have converted over to. But good news, anyone playing, any of the millions of people playing Roblox can now play it for free on Xbox.
It's going to take a real financial hit, I think, because of that, unfortunately.
Massive.
It's going to be really rough for them. Hope they survive. So then this next one, you and I talked about this already, and I imagine I'm going to have to lean on your technical expertise a little bit here.
Okay.
But, the headline is that Xbox is working to bring AMD's FidelityFX tech, which is basically laying the groundwork for their super resolution, which is like going to bring a massive boost to the quality of your experience and what you can compared it to
DLSS. It's
DLSS.
It's
Thank you.
AMD's answer to NVIDIA's DLSS, which is currently in the works. So this is a story that comes from Jeff Grubb, but was announced at GameStack. FidelityFX is coming over, which is essentially a contrast sharpening system, but also has a bunch of smoothing algorithms in. And from Jeff's article, AMD said effects like denoising for ray trace shadows are coming to Xbox with FidelityFX right now. Denoising is important because ray trace lighting can make shadows look grainy or noisy without the smoothing algorithm. And you'll have probably noticed this. I definitely did in Watch Dogs Legion. All of the ray trace stuff looks like it's sparkly. It's got that sparkly look to it. This will solve that problem. So it'll run through AMD's FidelityFX engine, all done on the GPU, and it should solve that problem. You won't have any of that grainy look or that sparkly look. This then lays the groundwork for AMD's Super Resolution, the DLSS competitor, which isn't ready yet. But apparently AMD told the media it will talk about Super Resolution soon. The company is not waiting before making preparations for that technology. And by getting FidelityFX into a place on Microsoft console, AMD will be able to add Super Resolution to the console relatively quickly when the time comes. And for me, this is really exciting news.
Yeah.
We heard the rumor that DLSS might be coming to consoles with the Switch Pro later this year, if that actually happens. And to have super resolution come over, it means that we could potentially have those 4K looking fantastic visuals with ray tracing and hitting that 60 frames a second solidly all the time. So fingers crossed this does come. But it's good news for developers as well. They can use the FidelityFX API on both Xbox. It will then automatically work on PC. So if you have an AMD card, it will work over there as well. And you'll also get the super resolution when that's released.
Yes, I mean, huge boon if they can figure this out. I mean, that would be like an across the board upgrade to the tech. That would be really exciting to see. And I mean, you can probably take it to the bank that it will come shortly. From the sound of it, I mean, shortly, relatively, right? Next year or two, maybe. But
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it's going to be probably relatively soon. And Jeff was also asked on Twitter, "Is this going to come to PS5?" He said he doesn't know, but he doesn't think it has to. And Sony's probably working on their own custom solution that might work on top of the Fidelity FX tech. But Sony will be looking to do probably their own thing rather than waiting for AMD to do the legwork on the super resolution.
interesting. But yeah, either way, exciting to think that there's more power to be wrung out of these consoles yet.
Yeah.
Because the tech is so new and we're only scratching the surface of what can really be done with it so far. Which is, always exciting. And then there was also another announcement that I believe it's 12 games are getting an FPS boost.
13 EA games, including like all of the Battlefield games.
Yeah.
I think some of the Need for Speeds are getting them, and they're being boosted up to 120 frames a second.
Right, correct.
Which is insane. So I'm looking forward to trying some of these out and seeing if I can even feel the difference. Like my eyes are so bad, I just don't tell the difference. Anything above 60 feels great to me, so 120 is lost on me.
It is funny. Like I've been having excuse me. I've been having a moment every once in a while with Ghost playing it at 4K 60 where I'm like, this looks like too real. Like it's like my eyes are like struggling to keep up with it or something. So I don't know that I need 120 FPS, but it's pretty good. So jumping over to the Sony side of the fence, we have a couple stories. The first one is a follow-up from the last 2 weeks that we've been talking about Jason Schreier's report over at Bloomberg about kind of, what's been going on with Sony and, their attitude towards, their first party AAA development and, kind of where their priorities are lying and everything. And one of the big takeaways from that was kind of what was going on at Sony Bend and that they had struggled to get a pitch assembled for Days Gone 2. And, amid a bunch of like leadership changes and kind of like tumultuous development of that game that was in development for like 7 years, I think it was 6 or 7 years. That essentially Days Gone 2 that Sony would not be going forward with it for a number of reasons, seemingly. The update,
even though it was profitable,
yes,
they decided not to. And I don't know if you saw the interview with John Garvin that was doing the rounds where he was asked about this sequel,
yeah,
and basically threw it at us and said players shouldn't complain if it doesn't get a sequel if they didn't buy it at full fucking price. And it's just like that's not really the angle to take as the former writer and creative director. I know he's not at Sony Bend anymore, but
yeah.
man, that's like the worst take possible.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like I don't know, the understanding that I got from Jason's reporting and like the conversation that he had with MinMax was that like this game wasn't in development and like, John is kind of making it out to be that like it was and that like, Sony axed it because you guys didn't buy it or whatever. And like, it doesn't really seem like the profitability was the problem as much as like They didn't have a solid pitch for it. They didn't have a creative director at that time. They were like cycling through people, and the overall expectations for what a sequel was going to do was, middling. And for a game that was not even really like together, that's not that insane, for them to come to that conclusion. But anyway, the reason we're bringing it up and again. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something else?
I also kind of feel like the problem with that game was it came out on the heels of The Last of Us 2, and it's sort of like, do we really need 2 zombie games from Sony
it came out
Studios?
first.
It did, but it wasn't meant to.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2 got delayed constantly. So I don't know. I was waiting for The Last of Us. I was like, if I'm playing a zombie game, is any play on freaking The Last of Us over this one? Plus, I'm not a fan of horde games.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely was. I think I got caught up in the review conversation about it, where like when it came out and it was just like all 7s, I was like, I could skip it. Like I was looking forward to it and had been looking forward to it for years and was like, interested in seeing it come together. But I think between seeing so much of it for so long and then like everyone being like, it's all right, I was like, okay, I'll get it eventually. And like I have it now and I still haven't played it. I'd like to. Like it's a game I know I will play eventually. But, I don't know. I think it's just like it's a multifaceted reason why it seems like it's not coming back. Mm-hmm. But either way, the reason we're bringing it up this week is that there's a fan petition that that's making the rounds that already has almost 80,000 signatures as of it being updated today, where people are demanding that Sony approve a Days Gone 2. And the petition's organizer said, this is, quote, there's millions of people who want Sony PlayStation to approve Days Gone 2, and I want all the fans to sign this petition. They can't just pull the plug on such an amazing game that ended with a cliffhanger. So, this is an interesting one because it's like stuff like this happens all the time, and I think it's easy to kind of wave it away and be like, yeah, whatever, right? Like this doesn't matter. But like, I feel like there's never been a time in history where something like this is more likely to actually work than right now.
Yeah, especially considering like the story we're about to go into where there was a revolt online and so
right. And so, I mean, it's like that, it happens, like it does happen. And, some people take issue with that. Some people don't feel like fans should have that kind of power. But I think when it comes to something like this, like if you feel strongly about Days Gone and want to see a Days Gone 2, like put your money where your mouth is. Go sign the petition. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I can understand that. I also wonder how many of these people are actually going to spend $60 on that game, because it's one thing to click a button on a screen and say, yeah, make sure you do Days Gone 2, and it's another thing to talk with your wallet and actually plump down $60 for a game.
Yeah, you're right.
Or $70 now for a Sony game.
You know what though? I just signed the petition. What's up, Sony Bend? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, everybody. Hashtag Days Gone 2. Let's go. All right. So let's jump into our next story that, as Steve said, very related to this one. Sony has reversed their decision to close the stores on the PS3 and PS Vita, although the PlayStation Portable store will still be closing. So,
RIP to all the PSP goes.
I don't know how many.
How many of those are still around that haven't been hacked and aren't playing other things? Because that's all anyone ever did with a PSP. Just run homebrew on the thing.
Yeah, like how many PSP games are there that are like exclusive? Like I know there are some, but like not that many, right? Like
And they actually started porting a bunch of those to
Yeah.
PS4, like Medieval Resurrection, Loco Roco got ported,
Did
bunch of the good ones.
Death Junior that ever get ported? I remember playing that on the PSP.
No idea.
It was the first PSP game shown publicly, and it was advertised as a killer app, according to Wikipedia. And I do remember that. I liked that game a lot.
But I also remember when they advertised the GPS attachment, and we were going to be able to have maps and things on our PlayStation Portable, and the attachment slot that never got used.
Huh. I'm trying to see if this was ported. It doesn't look like it was. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable that Death Junior will be lost.
Yeah, you can't play it on a PSV either because the PSP store's closing, so you won't be able to play it there.
I could buy it on the Vita though, right?
I don't know how it works because it says PSP commerce functionality will retire, so I don't know if that means on the PSP or if all PSP games will be unable to be purchased.
I don't know.
And my read of that is you can't buy PSP games, PSP commerce. Otherwise, it would just be the PSP store, right?
Probably, but I think I could buy it, and then you'd just have it. Like you'd still be good on that regard.
Yeah, if you get it before July 2nd, you can download it.
Okay, I'll have to go buy Death Junior on my Vita then. Apparently. So anyway, Jim Ryan made a statement about it. Of course, president and CEO of Sony Interactive, and he said that upon further reflection, it is clear that we made the wrong decision here. So today, I'm happy to say that we will be keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. PSP commerce functionality will retire on July 2nd as planned. So if you want to go buy your copy of Death Junior before that, make sure you go on July before July. Very important. But I do think that this is great. Like I'm glad to see this change. I think this speaks to what we were just talking about, right? The idea that like if gamers make a loud enough stink about this kind of thing, that sometimes you can see the change that you want to see happen. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to the almighty dollar. So if they think that there's enough of a reason to do this, even just for the good PR, then that's a move worth doing for them. Jim did give a little bit more context too, like in terms of some of their like reasoning behind the decision, which was something that we were speculating a lot about. So I will read this too. He said, when we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for the PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future, so I'm glad we were able to find a solution to continue operations. So, I mean, obviously...
I kind of want to know what the number of factors are, like commerce support. I mean, fair enough. Like, what's that? People requesting refunds and saying that they had problems purchasing it?
I'm wondering if it's things like that, or if, like, there are, like, issues with games, or maybe, like, wanting to bring, like, new forms of, like, payment options to the platform, and that's difficult to do because it's old, like, things like that, I'm wondering if those are the kinds of factors at play. But
possibly.
What I find a bummer about this is I really just wish that they would like invest the resources to modernizing those stores and just like bringing them all over in line in the way that Xbox has. Where now, like, if I want to play fucking Blinks the Time Cat, the Xbox original, I can just search that on my Series X and it comes up and I can download it and I can play it. And like, it should be that simple, And I know that with like specifically the PS3 architecture, that's tough because of the cell fucking processor, whatever the hell. Like I know that there's
but they have PlayStation Now, which they've announced just this week is getting 1080p streaming. Why not have that in the store, so you can search for the game, and it's like you can't buy this because it's a PS3 game and we don't do
I think you can do that.
emulation. But you can, but it's not one unified interface, right? On PS5, you have the tabs. It's like PS Now, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Store.
You're right
It's
about
all segmented.
You're right about the tabs, but I think if you search for a game that's on PlayStation Now, I think it comes up in the search. I might be wrong about that, but
I mean, if it does, then that works for me. Like the fact that you can just prompt you to subscribe to PlayStation Now. The one thing I wish they would do is unify PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now and have like PlayStation Plus Ultimate or something.
Yeah, because that's
where
the thing
it is one price.
I don't want to pay for PlayStation Now. Like, I don't like the idea of streaming games. It doesn't really work that well, and like, I don't want to play games that way. Like, if that's the only way you can make PS3 games work, like, fine, I guess. Like, I don't really buy that, frankly. Like, there are PlayStation 3 emulators. Like, people are figuring it out.
That are really good.
So I don't fully buy that, but like, I wish that they would just make the effort to be like, okay, you know what? People have spoken loud and clear. We don't want to support these platforms anymore. What we're going to do is, we're going to update and modernize the PlayStation Store so that it includes every one of our platforms. The whole libraries are there, and there's a PS3 emulator and a Vita emulator built into the thing now, or you download them, whatever. I'd even pay for it if you needed to. Fine. Like, and then if you buy one of those games, it loads in the emulator that's native on the thing, and that's how it works.
Which is exactly how Xbox does it. It boots up into
like Xbox
360. Yeah, and did you know you can press I think it's the cheeseburger and the cheese slices buttons, and it will like bring up the Blades mode, and you can like view the original
really?
Blades. Like, yeah, it all comes up in there.
That's awesome. I love that. I feel like it should. I think that's what Sony should just be working towards, and like, I don't know. I get that it's easy to not worry about that when you're on top, but like, it bums me out. Like, I don't want to see these games get lost to time. Game preservation is something that I really care about. And, like, I know that there's not really, and I've made this point before, right? I think more of us want the option to play these games and we really want to play them. Like, do I really want to play Death Jr. again, or do I want to just know that I could? And the reality is I probably just want to know that I could. And
to some extent, yeah, but like, I do often find myself going back to those old classics that make me feel good. And talking about like nostalgia hit, and the Toy Story 2s, the Cooler Worlds that I just go back to, and I'm like, oh, I feel like a kid again.
Yep.
And like, that's the kind of thing I want to do. And if they take that away, I'll never be able to again. And I understand that it's unlikely that new players are going to go back and go, oh, I'll try this PSP game that I totally never played, because who is going to do that?
Right.
But if you had those games and you have nostalgia for it, they should be available for you to purchase if you want to in the future going forwards.
I agree. And and ultimately I think it's as simple as that. And I think that like PlayStation's a business, right? All these companies are businesses. I say this all the time, right? They don't care about they care about you as much as it affects their bottom line, right? They care about game preservation and all these things as much as it affects their bottom line. But I think that when you're talking about like the business of art, like, you should love the medium, and like, there should be things that go beyond money. And I think that protecting your legacy and the legacy of your platforms is something that should go beyond the money, at least on some level, not to an insane degree, but like, it's got to be somebody's job to do this. And when you control the gilded wall, when you have stuff on your platform that only exists on your platform and you paid to make it that way, then it should be your fucking responsibility to make sure that it survives, I think.
Yeah, and we're giving Sony a hard time here, but Nintendo does absolutely not get a pass for their really shitty display.
It's awful.
They have done the worst thing imaginable by just removing games from sales here, just because they knew it would give them that boost in that financial year and give it that false sense of, oh, this is a limited game. And the fact that Virtual Console was there, it was the gold standard of this kind of thing. You know, you could play stuff all the way back to like TurboGrafx. It's systems that weren't even Nintendo systems, Master System, Mega Drive. It was all there, and they just binned it off, and we got the crappy Nintendo Switch Online service with SNES and NES games. And that's it. That's all we've got.
And not even all of them. Not even like all of the ones.
Absolutely massive games like Paper Mario's not there, Chrono Trigger's not there. All the games that you potentially would really want to play.
Fucking Earthbound, you know, like.
Yeah, where's Mother 3?
Yeah, it is frustrating. Speaking of things that are frustrating, last story of the day, very quick one, just a quick opportunity to laugh at this one last time, probably. If you'll recall, late last year, we briefly became the Cyberpunk 2099 controversy podcast, where it was just like every week we were talking about whatever was going on with CD Projekt Red and what's going on with Cyberpunk. We got some news this week from Daniel and Med, who had numbers to offer us about the data on how Cyberpunk performed. And I mean, we knew it was a big game, so it's not super surprising, but it's pretty big numbers. So Cyberpunk 2077 sold 13.7 million copies by the end of 2020, which is absurd. The Witcher 3 had its second best year in 2020, and it sold over 30 million units to date, which is wild.
Is that today or is that in 2020?
It says it has sold over 30 million units. I believe that means completely, not within that year. I think that would be fucking absurd.
Ridiculous.
And apparently they have next gen console versions for both games planned to launch in 2021. We'll see how that turns out. The breakdown of those units sold, 56% were on PC, 28% were on PS4, and 17% were on Xbox One. And 73% or 10 million of those copies were digital, which pretty surprising, I guess not considering it's PC, but
yeah, all of those 7.67 million on PC are digital. They didn't do a physical release.
Which is pretty interesting. But then there was, where's the number? Somebody else had this number of like how many returns they actually did, and it was only like 30,000, which I thought was interesting. Considering how much of a hullabaloo there was about it, you'd think that.
I never went through the effort, did you?
No, I beat the game. I wasn't going to return it. I think that would be shitty, like.
Yeah, I gave up. It was broken. It's still broken. I've tried again, and the police system is just horrendous. I've given up with that game. I'm waiting for the next gen release where hopefully they fix a bunch of stuff.
I just think it's really funny that. I think it's really funny that like it's still not on the PlayStation Store. There was like all this controversy, and it was like only 30,000 refunds.
Yeah, but imagine getting 30,000 support requests coming through to the PlayStation Store staff, where there's probably less than 100 people working in that department, and all of a sudden they've got to deal with this barrage of shit that's coming their way because CD Projekt told people to email the PlayStation support and didn't clear it with PlayStation support beforehand. Like, I can understand why Sony reacted in the way they did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I found the article. I originally saw Kat Bailey's write-up on IGN, but it actually, the report originated from Ars Technica and Kyle Orland, so thank you for that, Kyle, and Kat. And it says that they reported 30,000 refunds and $2.23 million costs to cover its Help Me Refund program. But their latest financial report points out that the total projected cost of the refunds and lost sales is $51.2 million. But that is only a fraction of the $563 million in net sales that the company reported. So they lost like 10%.
They've made a profit on it because the total budget was 315 million. So they made a nice sizable chunk of change with the 200 million difference there.
Yeah, not bad. Not really much else to say about that. Just I thought it was interesting and kind of funny considering like how much of a story it was versus the reality. And I think the reason I wanted to bring it up, and I think, you know, on some level we're probably even guilty of this in our own reporting on the matter, is that, hey, watch out for hyperbole, folks. You know, sometimes things seem like a bigger deal than they are.
Yeah.
Not to say that the outrage or anything was necessarily misplaced. On some people, it obviously was, right? Some people are insane. Don't send death threats. Don't harass people. But yeah, 30,000 is a drop in the bucket of that 13 million. And at the end of the day, you know, not such a big deal. So, perspective is important. So I thought, you know, we'll end the show this week with a little bit of perspective. So, you know what, Steve? We landed the plane just over an hour. I'm proud of us. I'm proud.
I can't believe it. We did cut like 6 or 7 stories.
We did.
This week was insane for news. It just kept going. I remember messaging you on, I think it was Tuesday. I was like, and it really feels like there's going to be more coming. And it just did not stop. It was like story.
Yeah, it was so funny because I remember we were talking about it on Tuesday and I was like, hell of a week, hell of a show this week, huh? And you were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking Tuesday. Like, like 6 days before we record, it's definitely going to be a lot more. There has to be. But anyway, great episode. Good work, everybody. We did it, gang. We did it. So if you want to let us know what you thought about this week's show or any of the stories that we discussed, remember you can write into the show a bunch of ways. You can hit me up at pete@lootpots.com. You can join the Discord and send your questions in the PotsCast channel. You can get at us on social media at LootPots. Wherever we are taking questions, go give one. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, this week we should be streaming a little bit of Emily is Away. So come tune in to that on twitch.tv/LootPots on Thursday night. We will be there rocking and rolling, so come hang out with us. And then, of course, head over to patreon.com/LootPots, where for just $1, you can keep the conversation rolling with me and Steve here this week and listen to us talk about what we'd do if Steve won the lottery. Because I found out they don't collect taxes on your lottery winnings in the UK, so that's what we're buying all our lottery tickets from now on, gang. All right, so go tune into that, check it out. Hopefully we'll see you on Thursday, and we'll catch you next week for another episode of the PotsCast. Take care, everybody.